check. Thank you. That better. Let's try that one again. Good morning. I love it. I love it. I won't get tired of that. Now, for those of you who wonder, I sound the chime once for those who have gone before us. I sound it a second time for those of us living in the here and now. And I sound it one more time for those who will inhabit the future. And for now, welcome. And just start off with a little prelude from Sean. Thank you, Sean. Welcome to the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist Congregation on this first Sunday of March. Spring's just around the corner. Doesn't seem like it now, but it really is. I'm Glennis Peterson. I especially want to welcome those of you who are here for the first time. Please consider staying after the service for some coffee and refreshments, and I think I saw Sam coming in with those wonderful cookies. Thank you. Amazing. Anyway, for conversation so that we can get to know each other a little bit better. Welcome also to those of you at home. We're really glad you're joining us today. I wish to thank our greeters, Al and Mary Herring and Connie Erickson, for those lovely flowers once again. As always, I'm ever grateful to our staff, Sean and Genevieve, for their talents and skills. I would like to draw your attention to the insert in your order of service where it has upcoming events, and note that on Wednesday of this coming week, there is a positive open mic, 6:30, and I hear that it's really a great time now. So, I would also like to acknowledge the people who come before us on this land where this beloved sanctuary stands. This is the land of the Umpqua people, whose name graces both forks of the river and this valley, and whose name has been chosen as the name of this congregation. This land acknowledgement is in recognition of their gifts and the beginning of atonement for harms done, and part of the path towards healing. Also, please take a moment, and I need to do this myself, to silence your phone. Today, our speaker is Donna Smith. I will tell you a lot more about her in a little bit, but for now, to help those in our community who suffer from food insecurity, we join with several Roseburg churches in support of the Fish Pantry, and we will now collect your food or money donations for fish. I invite, she's already here, the young at heart, to take a basket and help in our collection. Thank you for your kind donations. Over the years, we have done really a lot to put a dent in food insecurity in this community, and I really am proud of that and grateful. For the gift of this day and for our community of spiritual nurture and compassion, we give thanks. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith. May our many sparks meet and merge in communion of heart and soul. Our opening words are from the Way of Mastery. The way of the heart begins with the recognition that you are already loved by that only source that matters, that you have come for a much higher purpose that can be made manifest in the ways of the world, but is not of this world. Please rise in body and spirit, and sing number 300 with heart and mind. I don't see any young ones that will go downstairs, but we will go ahead and sing that song anyway. Go now in peace, because we like it. Keep in practice with that, because we will have children again someday. Well, now is the time in our service where we remember our joys and concerns with silent or spoken candle lighting regarding the significant milestones of our lives. I invite those who wish to light a candle, silent or spoken, please form a line to my right. And for those with spoken candles, please give your name and be brief. At this time, for those of you at home, this is a time for you to actually reflect also, if you wish, on your joys and concerns, and light a candle too, if you want.
to me, come to me.
The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. We are supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join us. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values. For the gifts that we have received, may we be truly grateful. May we be committed to using these gifts to make a difference in the world and to expand our beloved community. And now sit back and relax and enjoy our anthem this morning, Be Free. Sean?
Just because the tracks are late, or just because your ticket's paid for, and some crazed conductor keeps on calling out your name, you don't need to board the train. You don't need to board the train. Trains of thought will come and go, but you are not your thoughts, you know. So why get all caught up in where they lead? You are who these thoughts are passing through. Don't you see? You are who these thoughts are passing through. Be free. Be free. Even when you're feeling frightened, sad or hurt or unenlightened, you can find a peace that underlies what passes by. Don't mistake the weather for the sky of your being. Don't mistake the weather for the sky. Feelings rise then fall away, even those you wish would stay. So why equate your sense of self with mood? You are who emotion passes through. Don't you see? You are who emotion passes through. Be free. Be free. What a blessing to have taken birth in this human form, with a chance to see that who we are was really never born, can never die, is always free. If destiny decides to strike some version of a script you like and make a melodrama of your endless cabaret, you know you can still enjoy the play. Yes, you can, if you're still and you know how to play. Just treat it like a mystery and view it from the balcony. Laugh and cry and stomp your feet, but don't believe a thing. You are who these scenes are passing through. Don't you see? You are who this play is passing through. Be free. Be free. Be free.
Thank you so much, Sean. Well, now I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Donna Smith. If you don't know her, here's a little bit about her. She is a Unity Worldwide Ministry spiritual leader whose focus was training on pastoral care. She is most happy when she can help others find peace and joy in their lives. She's also a Unity chaplain, a Taizé prayer leader and trainer, a Reiki master and practitioner, a nonviolent communication teacher, a student and teacher of A Course in Miracles, and a teacher of the Way of Mastery, and is active in our Cares and Concerns ministry. Donna?
Good morning, everyone. Well, Sean, thank you for that beautiful song. He actually gave you my sermon today, so that's it. We're done. Perfect words. I loved it. Loved it. All right. Well, last time I was here, we did part 1 of Keys to the Kingdom. And today we're going to do part 2, the final part. So last time we learned that, the kingdom is a state of being, and it cannot be defined. It can only be experienced. It is everywhere present. It is life. It is oneness. It is possibility. It is unlimited, it is peace, it is joy, it is unconditional love. It is health and wholeness of mind and body and spirit. It is wisdom, all-knowing. It is creation at its highest level. Higher. Can you hear me now? So, where is the kingdom? It's right here. In fact, you are the kingdom. The Course in Miracles teaches us that we have never left the garden. So why aren't we living and experiencing this bliss? Well, this thing that we call the ego tells us that we don't need the kingdom, that we can live our own lives separate from what the source thinks we can live. We don't need the source, in other words. However, we can use our thoughts to experience an existence that seems to be separate from the source. But that's impossible. We cannot be separate from our source. Where would we be? There is no other place, is there? So many of us are living in this way because we are allowing our egos to control us. The only problem that we have is that we believe we can be separate from our source. Because all the other things that we define as our problems fall out from that belief. So all we have to do is change that belief and all of our problems will go away. And believe it or not, I believe that. We learned that there are choice points where we can choose something other than fear. Points where we can let go of the fear that is controlling us and become the masters of our lives. And this requires a willingness to commit to the remembering of who we truly are. And many call it the path to enlightenment. The first key is desire. And desire is everything. It is the basis of creation itself. In fact, if Source did not want to extend itself, we wouldn't even be here. That's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, everything you do in your life first has a desire that motivates it. And so we learned not to be afraid of desire because it is the basis of our expansion. We learn to go to the heart and ask, what is it that I desire? What is my passion? What is my purpose here? What fills me with energy and joy? And your answers are showing you the path that you chose when you decided to come here in physicality. That's how important your heart is. The second key is intention. Desire in this dimension of time is cultivated through intention. We learned that our intentions can be forgotten by distractions. Yes, we had a laugh over that one. How many times do we get distracted from our intentions? Our minds are busy all the time with thoughts coming and going, and they can distract us from our intentions. And as Sean pointed out in that song, we are not our thoughts, but we sure do let them control us, don't we? Yes. Desire and intention work together, and I quoted this last time, but I want to share it again with you from the Way of Mastery. Intention is that energy or that use of the mind that creates. Through consistent practice, the channel through which desire begins to move down and re-educate the emotional body and even the cellular structure of the physical body, and all of the lesser avenues of thinking that occur within the intellect. So everything involved in your being is integrated, working together, and focused on the fulfillment of that one grand desire to accept your function in this world. That's when they're working together. So today, let's look at the third key, which is allowance. Scary word for so many. Okay. You may say, I will not allow this or that. Understandably so. The egoic world does not teach us to allow, it teaches us to strive. It teaches us that you must be a doer and a maker. You must find a way to manipulate or control your environment in order that it conform itself to the image that you are holding in your mind of what it should be. And I am reminded of the words of Abraham that's channeled through Esther Hicks. We did not come forth to get things done. We came forth to dream and move toward our dreams. Doesn't that sound good to your heart? I love that. But what if I told you that you're always creating exactly what you decree? That this is no big deal, it's not a secret, and we do it all the time with our thoughts, and most of those thoughts come from our programs. Okay? And the worldly part of the mind can only desire what it has been programmed to desire. For example, we have been programmed to desire an education in order to create what Yeshua calls golden coins, so that we can have a Mercedes, we can have a house, the prestige and the recognition, so that we will be accepted and loved. We are struggling to be loved. If I look successful, maybe they will love me. And this is one of the effects of the thoughts of separation. As our opening quote this morning said, we are already loved by the only source that matters. Allowance is the cultivation of a way of looking at the events of your life, not as obstacles to getting what you want, but as stepping stones. Each event in your life presents you with a blessing of the lessons required to heal those obstacles. Not obstacles to achieve success as defined by the world, but obstacles to realizing the presence of love as the source and ground of your being. A Course in Miracles teaches us, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. It is not necessary to seek for what is true, but it is necessary to seek for what is false. Right now, humanity is in the middle of the chaos of finding those barriers to what is true. And many things are coming to light, and it is painful for many. But it is necessary for us to find all that is false in our beliefs and what is happening. And that's what that quote is referring to. We must find what is false. So for in this finding of what is not true, then we see truth. In the stage of allowance, we begin to cultivate an acceptance of all things in our experience. We begin to see that with our desires and intentions, our commitment to awakening to the kingdom, the universe is already conspiring to bring the people and the events into our lives on a moment-to-moment basis, every moment that can best provide each and every one of us with exactly what we need to become aware of that and release those barriers. And that's why it is so important to allow what is coming into your life. But we fight. We fight against that. And we try not to allow because we don't like them. We don't like some of these things that come up. But messengers are sent constantly, all the time, continually. And some we like and some we don't. The people who push your buttons, they are messengers. And they are teachers. And we don't like it, do we? But they are blessings that are not seen as blessings just because we don't like them. So I think it's saying maybe we should take another look at these people and ask ourselves, not so much what is going on with them, but why am I feeling this way because this happened? Go within. And as the Way of Mastery reads, the messenger could be someone who comes as the grain of sand within the oyster that causes the friction within you that nudges you from your sleep, and you realize that you have been operating out of some very dysfunctional patterns and that you've got to get a better grip upon the truth of who you are. Through our messengers, we begin to be honest with ourselves. And this leads to being responsible for ourselves. Allowance is the cultivation of a quality of awareness in which you no longer look to the outer world, the egoic consciousness, for your sense of beingness. Because it's not out there. It can't be out there. Instead, you allow that deepest aspect of your beingness that is one with the source. That is that deepest wisdom that knows best how to bring about what is required to push up the dross that from your consciousness so that you can release it. We just need a little prodding sometimes to wake up and let go of these things. And at this stage, you understand that you cannot transcend what you do not allow. Because when you allow what is, it releases its control over you. And then you're free to move beyond it. But until you allow it because it is, when you fight and want it not to be, it's actually staying with you and you are holding on to it. And you will know what is yours to do about it, if anything. Sometimes there's nothing for us to do but sit back. We don't have to fix everything, in other words. And when you go within and you ask what is yours to do, sometimes that answer will be nothing, because something beyond our imagination is going on, and to allow it will give us the freedom to move beyond it and allow it to be, whatever that is. But we tend to resist things. And it persists when we do that, doesn't it? It just stays there, and it gets just bigger and bigger and more, huge and out of sight and just heavier for us because we persist in resisting it. Abraham reminds us, the longer you focus upon something, the more powerful it becomes, and the stronger that your point of attraction is to it, the more evidence of it appears in your life experience. Whether you are focusing upon things you want or things you do not want, the evidence of your thoughts continually flows toward you. That's why I know you've heard me say so many times, think about the things you want, not the things you don't want. Because when you're thinking about the things you don't want, that's what you're bringing to yourself. That reminds me of Mother Teresa. They asked her to join a march against the war, and she said, no. If you have a march for peace, I'll be there. See? Allowance is the way in which intention and desire come to work more fully in the third dimension of our existence in the field of time. Allowance cultivates trust. You begin to understand that we live in a field of vibrations and energies that is operated by the law of attraction or resonance, that vibrational resonance. And as Abraham reminded us above, and you begin to allow that some things will fall out of your life even family and friends. Trusting that because of your desires and intentions, that which passes out of your life must be okay. You trust that it will be replaced by new vibrational patterns that come in the form of those messengers that we talk about, those events, those places, persons, and things. And those will carry you upward. It's okay to let go of things, because I know that it's hard to let go of friendships and family members, but perhaps that is what is required for you both to continue to grow, because there's something there that is impeding that. So you might want to think of it as freedom, allowing that freedom for each of you to grow. Look at divorces. That's the basics of divorces. The people are not helping each other grow any longer, and it's okay to allow that. And allowance means that you recognize there is something beyond the intellect and the control of the egoic part of the mind, and that the maker and the doer that has been trying to do all of it is not adequate. The fourth key is surrender. Ooh, another scary word. Surrender. And this is where you know, through every fiber of your being, that there is no one here living a life. There is life flowing through the body, mind, and the personality for as long as it lasts. This is the vessel. The life is your soul. The life is the source that is flowing through this vessel at this moment. That's what that means. So when you surrender to this truth and allow life to flow through you from your deepest wisdom, then your life really does change. You become a person filled with peace and knowing, not with passivity or inactivity, but with greater activity. For you have reached into the endless energy of your soul, and that energy never wanes, never. This is beyond the energy of the body, which does wane and requires a lot of attention, doesn't it? I mean, we have to feed it, we have to sleep, we have to do all of these things. But when you tap into the energy of your soul, we call it maybe the chakra energy, kundalini energy, if you want to look at it that way. It is that eternal source energy that is. It's always there. And it will always be there, and you can experience that as soon as you open up to allow it. Allow it. So when you surrender, you totally become responsible for yourself, your life, and everything in your life. There's no more blaming anybody else for your life. So the four keys are desire, intention, allowance, and surrender. But it is surrender into a way of being that the world can never know. Okay? The world does not recognize that when you surrender, you open to your union with all of creation. You see and feel and know the oneness of life, which the world does not know. Surrender. You may never win an Oscar, and it'll be okay. You may never get a Mercedes, and it will be okay. In fact, you may never have a place to live, but it will be okay at that level. You may talk with a leaf as it falls from a tree. You may see the soul of a kitten that you are petting. And you may talk to angels and masters. But you will know your higher self, and you will know it as truth. It will be that deepest, deepest knowing beyond any belief. It will be a knowing. And nothing will disturb your peace. In fact, all immaturity will be gone. So these are the keys to the kingdom. They are all here right now, and they arise into your experience the moment you become aware of them and allow them to be there. Okay. However, these keys, we tend to strive for them. And we do that through making all kinds of rules and regulations. We must meditate, we must do this, we must do that. And when we do that, we are keeping ourselves out of exactly what we're trying to seek. We're trying to seek something that we already are. You see the problem there? Yeah. So when you become aware of who you truly are, all the barriers to that will be released. And there is no efforting. There is no striving. The universe is a flow. So striving and efforting is the antithesis of creation. It is a flow. Now here's another thing we must remember. We are already enlightened beings by our birth. All we have to do is remember that. Our words today in the song, remember who you are. But this means that you have to accept your divinity, whatever you want to call it. People have different names, but it's still the same thing. So can you accept your divinity? Can you look at yourself as a precious, loving, lovable being? Can you really do that? Can you stand in front of the mirror and do that? How do you talk to yourself? How do you talk to yourself? Marianne Williamson, who, by the way, is running for president. Yes. She just announced it, I think it was yesterday. She writes in A Return to Love, and I know you've heard this before, but some things, deserve to be repeated. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? And actually, who are we not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. And can you allow all those around you to be who they are and allow them to walk their path without you trying to change them? We're really good at that. Abraham reminds us it is not your job to make something happen. Universal forces are in place for all of that. Your work is to simply determine what you want. So I think that says let's let everybody off the hook. Let them be who they are. So when you accept the keys to the kingdom, the world may not like you, okay? You will begin to push some buttons. And your lightning energy will be pure love and light, and this light will affect the darkness. And some people will cringe and not like it. But bring your light and love anyway, because that is how we're going to transform our world. So desire, intention, allowance, surrender are the keys to the kingdom. What do you truly want? Are you willing to feel it and let desire carry you home? Can you remember to use time constructively by focusing your intention? By reminding yourself of what you are truly here for? You're not here to just survive. You're here to thrive. Leo Tolstoy wrote, "Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself." Isn't that true? So the world is just a reflection of our collective consciousness. Change must begin within each one of us. It has to start there. There's no other place to start. And then as we change, that reflects out into the world, and that's the process of changing the world. Because we would all, I think, like to see peace and joy in the world and our lives for everyone, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. And so we need to open our heart to that realization. And just remember that you are the kingdom. Just open your eyes your hearts to that, and your life will change. Guaranteed. I'd like to invite you to join me in some meditation for a few moments. So find your meditation seat and relax your body. Drop your shoulders. Now drop them just a little bit more. Think serenity. Think peace. Breathe that into your body. And feel your body accepting the peace and the serenity of this moment. Feel that in this moment you are safe and you are loved. This is a beautiful moment. So let's bring our attention to our hearts. And just breathe in and out from your heart. And now think of someone or something that brings you genuine feelings of love, joy, appreciation, or gratitude. That which just causes you to smile. And just fill your heart and your mind with these feelings. And in this place of heart-brain coherence and balance, I want you to bring these same genuine feelings to yourself. Appreciate who you are. Celebrate who you are. Love who you are. For you are the dream. You are the dreamer. You are the passion. You are the creator of your life. You are the life flowing through your body-mind. Let's hold that energy in our hearts for just a few moments of silence. And just feel your greatness. Harriet Tubman once said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars, to change the world." So when you're ready, bring your attention back into this space and open your eyes. Don't you just love yourself right now? Doesn't it feel good? Thank you, everyone. Did you want me to stay? Okay. Yes.
Thank you so much, Donna. Now, does anyone have any comment or question for Donna this morning?
Donna, when you started speaking about allowance, an interesting contrast occurred to me that when I was young, I used to get an allowance from my parents. And some of you might also have had that experience. And it's a very different sense of the word allowance, I think, that, and we make allowances for each other. It's like, okay, well, that person, has smelly feet, but I'll still allow them to sit in my car, or whatever it is. The allowance in that sense is sort of almost a grudging, we're giving a little space to something, but there's more emphasis on holding back. I'll give you, $3, it's your allowance, but I'm making sure you don't get more than that. Or I'm
And make sure you do something for it, right?
Right, exactly. But
Yeah.
but the allowing, that you're allowing your child to grow up and become who they are, that's a very different, that's closer to surrenderance,
Yes.
really. And
Yeah.
then you're stepping out of the way and you're letting go rather than holding on to.
Yes, yeah. And we have these programmed thoughts as parents. I'm not a parent this trip, but we want them to go to college. We want them to be a doctor. We don't want them to be a musician. Musicians don't make a lot of money, right? Yeah. So to allow your child to be who they truly are is different than the way the world sees it, although we're learning this, of course, And when I say the world is such and such a way right now, there are so many people in our world that are, have raised their consciousness above that. We're still seeing that, though, because that's what our media gives us, period. But there are so many people out there who have risen above that consciousness level. That's not a judgment. It's just, that some of us are at different levels, and that's okay, because that's where we're meant to be, to learn our lessons. But there are so many of us that have risen above that now, that's what's going to, that 100th monkey, all of a sudden it's going to flip it around, and all of a sudden the world is going to see that kind of consciousness instead of what it's seeing right now. So, yeah. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Donna. Is this coming? Okay. The allowance is the hardest thing, I think, for many of us. But it's particularly hard, it appears, for certain individuals and certain groups of people to allow others to be who they are. Yeah. And that is putting a major strain on individuals and groups that should not be there.
Yes.
And we have to all raise the consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how that's going to happen, but it will happen. It's got to happen. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you.
It starts with you and me and everybody. I'm not putting everything on you. But it has to start with us.
Thank you. You had mentioned, you were talking about accepting our divinity, and then you went on to say something about how you talk to yourself, and then you went on to say, I am here too, and I couldn't quite get what we're here to do or be.
Okay, just
To
a moment.
accept our divinity, how do I talk to myself, and I am here too. And I wanted to make sure I got those points down. How do I talk to myself,
Well, I'm not sure of my exact words, but we're here to be who we truly are.
which is,
Yes, which is divine love.
uh,
Yeah, and when we remember that, we see everything differently. Everything looks different because when we remember who we are, that we are love. You can call it anything you want, but it's that wonderful source energy that we all came from. You're coming from your soul, that part of that aspect, if that will help. And that soul energy sees everything differently than our physical energy. The soul will see things as an experience. A physical person, a human being, will look at it and say, oh, I don't like that, that's horrible, that's terrible, I like this is beautiful, and we make all of these judgments about everything in our lives. But your soul is looking at all the this happening to you as an experience and learning. And that's why the people that push your buttons are your greatest teachers. They're waking you up. And so we're here to remember who we are. Does that answer your question, Larry? Yeah, okay.
Well, I knew what I was going to say a minute ago, and then we waited too long. and that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now, because I do look at myself now. I look at myself at what I've helped do. And I'm beginning to think about the whys of that, which are your first three things. And so it's not humiliating to me when I forget what I knew a minute and a half ago. And so I'm thinking about what to do with that.
Well, you know how I look at it?
I'd love to know how you look at it.
I walk out the room to do something and, well, it's not that I forgot that. It's that my mind is so brilliant and so alert and keen, it is somewhere else ahead of it.
Right,
Yeah.
got that, got
Yeah.
that. All right.
I'm going to go with that, okay?
Thank you. Okay.
I started that a long time ago, too.
And maybe if we forgot what we were going to say or do, we can let it go and realize we've already moved on. and
Exactly.
it manifested how it needed to and maybe isn't important anymore.
Yes, I agree,
Um,
Kathy.
Thank you so much, Donna. I never have enough room on my little order of service to write down all the notes that I want to write down. But Larry, I did write down, you're not here to survive, you're here to thrive. Is that the,
Yeah.
okay. That
when I
really
said that,
resonated with me too. And the idea that, I mean, it's easy for me to sit here comfy cozy and say, even if I were homeless, I would be able to thrive by allowing my situation and noticing the beauty. But oddly, through mostly my choice, I was homeless. I was homeless for a time period when I was 20. And I started thinking about that was a very important time for me. It was a coming of age, and I learned how to meditate at that time and just notice the beauty. I can remember sitting and staring at one single drop of water for a very long time. It might have been several hours, and thinking that I had just seen God in that drop of water. But if somebody would have walked past me at that time, they would have thought, what a lazy slob. What is she doing with her life anyways? Yeah. But it was a launching point for the rest of my life. And anyway, what a beautiful talk. Thank you. So important. Just remember, please, to photocopy your talks and distribute them after the service.
Actually, what I was going to offer was, this is not mine, okay? It belongs to the universe. So if anybody wants a copy, all I need is your email.
Why don't you send it to Genevieve and she can put a link out that people can access?
Okay.
That would be
Yes,
easier for you if that would work.
absolutely. Yes. Then that way you don't have to make notes on that little. Yeah. Yes, I'm very happy to share all of this. Okay, I will. It'll be on YouTube. I know.
Yeah, that's
It'll be on YouTube. But some people like to have the physical, I like to have the paper so I can write on it and things like that, make my notes and so.
I just wanted to comment about kind of piggyback over JC, what she was talking about. So often we're listening and our mind is developing a thought, what we want to say, and then that experience happens, where then it's gone. But what came to my mind when she was talking about that is sometimes it isn't a thought that's pushing that away. It's an awareness. And what we were going to say might be concealing that awareness that wanted to pop out. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, well said, Connie. Yes, I agree. JC.
Because I did remember.
Yay!
And what it was is when you're going to release something, you will be in strange new country because that thing that you've believed in is not there anymore.
Yes,
And that's when you don't be afraid.
yes.
That's when you realize you get out your whatever makes things clear to you and look and see what's there now, that other thing isn't in the way.
Yeah.
So that's why I learned to step back and say, I really like change, regardless of what is going up and down my back and saying, stop, 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 don't go ahead. You do. Go right into and find out what's there.
And when you release something, celebrate it. Celebrate it.
Thank you.
I took too much time.
Thank you so much, Donna. And now, if you can rise as you can and join me in singing number 318, We Would Be One. As you cultivate the keys to the kingdom, gone will be your immaturity, your resistance to simply being responsible for your experience. The way of the heart then cultivates a maturity of desire, intention, allowance, and surrender. The only difference between being a master and being a student is that the master has mastered the art of always being a student. Together we have enjoyed the warmth and beauty of stories of this flame and of this special community. As our chalice flame is extinguished this morning, we can still remember that its glow is carried within us. We can use our inner lights and this flame to kindle new sparks throughout our lives and in the world. May the spirit of peace and togetherness bless your lives. Please join me in singing Go Lift It Up. Blessed be